I imagine we've all had the experience of seeing something as a child and perhaps misunderstanding it that still left a pretty big impression on us well into our adulthood. I'll give you an example. I don't like having my belly button touched at all. I've gotten better about it as I've gotten older. It's not so much of a big deal anymore, but even into my 20s, if you touched my belly button, it was a problem. I did not handle it well. The reason that it's a problem for me is because when I was, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years old, there was a music video from Aerosmith for the song Crying, and Alicia Silverstone's in it. Near the end of the video, she jumps backwards off of a bridge, and she's basically just bungee jumping off the bridge. I'll just have to show you what this looks like to explain it. So we can all look at that and deduce that she's got a harness under her clothing, and that's what the cable is clipped to. But in my 4 or 5-year-old brain, in a world where harnesses didn't exist yet, to me, I thought she had a ring through her belly button, and that's what it was clipped to. And now here we are 30 years later. I'm a grown man who doesn't like having his belly button touched. Now, I tell you that story to lead into today's video. We're going to be talking about a TV show that aired from the late 80s to around the mid 90s that probably shouldn't have been on the air. Rescue 911 is a show that takes real-life 911 calls. I want to say that again. These are real 911 calls, okay? And then they recreate the events surrounding the call. They have actors recreate it. I think sometimes they have real footage, but most of the time it's a reenactment. And it is so over the top, unnecessarily gruesome for daytime television in the late 80s and early to mid 90s. I do not know how they got away with this for so long. So today, that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to take a look at an episode that has stuck with me for my entire life. Just out of nowhere, was not expecting to see it, and then I saw it, and I'm not going to ruin it for you. We're going to watch this episode together. You will know when it happens.
Karen and Jack Hackard lived in the rural community of Thompson Station, Tennessee.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, William Shatner is the host for some reason. You know, William Shatner, literally one of the most famous people of all time. Yeah, he's the host of Rescue 911.
Their 5 acres of land had always provided a safe place for the kids to have fun, but on April 19th, 1993, they discovered that sometimes a child's worst enemy is his own innocent playfulness.
And you may be thinking, wow, that seems really dramatic. And I agree, it does seem really dramatic. This is going to get dramatic real fast, but something still felt over the top about that intro.
My husband was getting ready to leave for work, and he was discussing the length of the grass with Amanda.
Man, that must have been a riveting conversation. Yeah, so the grass has just continued to grow. It's gotten long, tall. Taller and longer than I prefer it to be. So if you could, I don't know. I don't have a solution for you, but I'm going to present to you the problem and hope you can come up with a solution. I would prefer that our grass be shorter than it is now by the time I get home from work. Can you do that?
Mandy, the back part, we'll worry about the front part too.
Dude, go to work. Don't give her instructions like that. That part and that part. Oh, you mean our whole yard? Thanks, Dad. Have a good day at work.
14-year-old Amanda mowed the lawn about once a week.
Now, the first big problem I have here is that Amanda needs some ear protection. She's 14 years old. If she's cutting the grass once a week with no ear protection, she's going to be having conversations like my great-grandfather by the time she's 20. Oh, hey, Peppa, how you been doing? I was just asking how I was just asking how you've been doing.
Mandy's very intelligent, and she knows how to use things. But if anything is handled improperly, it's dangerous.
Well, not anything. Just gonna cut this carrot real quick.
I got around the house about twice, and the twins came up and said they wanted to ride.
Now, you may think you know where this is headed, and that pisses me off. Stop getting ahead of me. We'll get there.
I told him I'd pull him to swing set without the blades running. So Joshua and Jeremy had a very premature birth, which led to a lot of medical problems
They didn't think Jeremy would walk, and Joshua was so fragile and so little.
Josh, do this.
You cannot tell them that they can't do anything because they'll prove you wrong every time.
Now, Jimmy, you can't fly. That's what you think. Huh, look at me. Go down the slide and then I'll... Whee! Fuck you, dumb bitch. Oh, damn it. Calm down. That's not it.
I turned the blades on and I started mowing again. The grass was all wet and his feet just slipped out from under him.
Bro! You can't do that on regular TV! You have no idea what it's like to be 7 years old and see that and not know it's a reenactment. I thought that was footage of a kid getting his foot cut off by a lawnmower.
I think my heart stopped beating. I'll never forget that sound.
Now, one thing I obviously overlooked when I was a child, probably because I was spiraling, is that when she picked him up, he still had his foot. Now, why his shoes shot out the other end, I'll never understand. But apparently it didn't cut his foot off.
I had no idea what had happened. My first reaction was,
God damn it, Amanda, blood all over the phone.
911, what is your emergency?
Notice it said actual call. They use the actual calls. Isn't that crazy?
Williamson County Dispatcher Guy Carton was handling the call.
What's the nearest street to you?
The biggest problem would be to make sure he didn't bleed.
No, sir. You shave it off right now. I would rather bleed to death than be helped by someone with that mustache.
Does he have any medical history or anything?
yeah.
Oh, medical history. He's had chicken pox. He has asthma. He's allergic to cats. I don't know if that matters. He was very recently run over by a lawnmower.
He's got a lot. He was a preemie. He was on the vent for a week. He has a seizure disorder.
Jesus, dude, that kid's had a rough go. Does he have any medical history? Sir, he has all the medical history.
I thought it was my fault.
Now that's just upsetting that she thinks this was in any way her fault. And I don't like how Daddy Chinstrap framed it like it was her fault at the beginning of the video with his mishandling of anything is dangerous comment. If we're getting the entire story, she's at zero fault here. She turned off the blades when she was pulling him with the wagon. She left him over by the swing. She turned the blades back on to cut the grass. And the kid came up and tried to steal home under the lawnmower. I don't know what she's supposed to do about that, but it's not her fault.
Jeremy followed me outside and started saying, it's not your fault. You know, that he still loves me, no matter what anybody says.
He's gonna be all right.
I don't even have any jokes for that. That's just sweet as all fucking goddamn get out.
It was his 6th birthday. We bought him a bike. And he was determined he was going to ride his bike. So he did everything he could to strengthen his muscles. He swam every day, exercised his leg. He didn't like it. He cried, but he did it.
6 months later, he was riding his bike. Kid is like Wolverine.
Yeah! Yeah, boy, yeah!
Now I'm more cautious about everything.
I understand that she would feel like she was going to be more cautious about everything. Hopefully the twins are a little bit more cautious about everything too.
The rules are that the twins have to be on the inside of the house or on the opposite side of the yard that I'm mowing.
That's a pretty good rule. Maybe just don't get under the lawnmower while I'm cutting the grass.
I think they're doing great. They're going to have problems for the long haul. They're going to have to work twice as hard as other kids with 3 times as many doctor's appointments, but they're going to make it. They're going to make it.
And now you know the story of one of the most traumatizing things I ever saw on television. I was blown away. Not only that I was able to find this video to use, but when I went to the part where his foot shoots out the other end of the lawnmower, I was blown away at how clearly I remembered that scene. That and the scene from the Aerosmith video. Usually, when you go back and look at something as an adult on something you remembered as a child, it's quite a bit different, usually, than you remembered it. Your brain has done things to it over time. My brain has left those memories completely untouched. I remember them as vividly as the first time I saw them, which is kind of crazy to me. That is a very interesting phenomenon, but maybe that's a topic for another day. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up here. I appreciate you guys watching. I appreciate all the support on the last video as well. We are closing in on 1,000 subs. much faster than I expected to on this channel. So I really appreciate that. I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. I'm having a blast doing it, and I'm looking forward to continuing to do this and grow this channel and make this the full-time thing. So I do appreciate all the support and the positivity in the comments. Let me know if there's anything specific you'd like to see in a future video, and perhaps I will pick it and make a video on it. Other than that, I'm getting out of here. Appreciate y'all. See you next time.